Hello and welcome to another Bionicle review. Today we're looking at set 8538, the Nui Jaga. This is one of the earliest Bionicle sets released, appearing on shelves back in 2001 during the very first year of the line. The set features two large creatures, or Rahi in Bionicle terms, both based on some species of giant scorpion. These guys inhabit the island of Matanui and are a frequent threat to our heroes, the Toa, as they go about their business. The Nui Jaga, along with most of the other Rahi, are the closest thing to villains that we got in the first year of Bionicle. The Balrog didn't come out until 2002, and even though Makuta's shadow loomed over the island of Matanui right from the start, we had to wait until 2003 before he was released in plastic form. So, let's have a look in the box. There are 218 pieces in total, which works out at 109 per Jaga. Most of the parts are Technic axles and lift arms, but you'll also spot Onua's claw in white, and his mask as well, in blue and purple. There are some Toa legs in black, a couple of recoloured slicer feet, which are for the head plates, and even the Robo Rider headpiece, which form the stingers. So, those are the pieces, let's get these things built. And here they are. Both Nui Jaga are completely identical in terms of construction, with the only difference being the colour scheme. They're designed well, with some clever part usage and good proportions, although they only have 6 legs instead of the 8 that most Scorpions have. The legs are posable thanks to ball socket joints, but they're mostly just there for aesthetic purposes. They don't help support the body at all, in fact they're a tiny bit too short to even reach the ground. Instead, the body is supported by the trigger mechanism underneath that operates the action feature. It's a good action feature, and we'll look at it shortly, but the trade-off is the legs are kind of left dangling there. Up close you can see the clever reuse of the slicer foot to form the faceplate. The slicer foot in blue is quite uncommon, but it's not exclusive to this set. Those pale blue Bakari masks aren't exclusive either if you're wondering, but that blue stinger piece at the end of the tail has never been used elsewhere. And those tube pieces that are used to decorate the arms are exclusive in this colour too, so make sure you don't lose yours because they're tricky to replace. Next up we have the purple Nui Jaga. The structure remains completely unchanged, but as you can see all of the parts that were blue are now purple. The eyes have changed colour too, being yellow here instead of red. Like the blue Jaga, the purple Jaga's stinger piece is an exclusive colour, and this time the slicer foot in purple is exclusive too. Those purple Bakari masks aren't exclusive however, although they've only been used in one other set, which is Onipu from the McDonald's Tohunga promotion. I think the purple one is my favourite of the two, something about the colour scheme just pops a little bit more. So, if you're wondering why this set contains two almost identical builds, it's because they're supposed to fight each other. As you saw earlier, each Nui Jaga has two masks to represent their claws. In the storyline, these masks become corrupted, putting the creatures under the control of Makuta and turning them against the Toa. But even in their wild state, Nui Jaga aren't the kind of creatures you want to mess around with. And that's where the play feature comes in. There's a hand grip underneath, and a trigger that controls the stinger. So, you take your Nui Jaga, give the other one to somebody who won't mind a few accidental stinger-related injuries, and have at it! The tail carries a lot of momentum, so one or two well-aimed whacks are normally enough to demask your opponent. And if nobody wants to play with you, fear not, the action feature works just as well against your Toa figures. Perhaps even too well. Ow, poor Lewa. Unfortunately, it's not quite so balanced the other way around. Even with the considerable chopping power of Lewa's axe, those masks just do not want to come off. I guess the Bakari is the mask of strength for a reason. Anyway, here's a Nui Jaga next to Lewa again for scale. And here's one next to a Nui Rama, another of the 2001 Rahi sets. I wouldn't recommend fighting these two against each other. The Jaga's stinger is so much more powerful than the Rama's wing flicking that the battle will be over even faster than it was against Lewa. There's also an alternate build for this set, which is a horrifying bird creature called a Kahu. There's not really much to say about it, the design is awkward, the articulation is limited, and it doesn't balance very well either. It does still have the Nui Jaga's trigger gimmick, although now it's repurposed for a beak snapping action. The wings don't flap, which seems like a really strange oversight for a bird, but they can kind of hinge backwards and forwards a short way. And the claws underneath are slightly articulated too, although those rubber bands attached to the ankles don't seem to serve much purpose beyond a tiny bit of stability. And for better or for worse, these things are actually canon to the Bionicle universe. They appeared in the Matanui online game, where one was piloted by Kongu. If you want to recreate those scenes, there's room on the Kahu's back for Kongo to kind of hang on, but there's no connection to hold him in place. To be honest, I'm happy just to leave mine in their scorpion form. And speaking of scorpions, how about a look at some different colours? Those blue and purple pieces are available in plenty of other colours, so how about switching them out? You can try white for a Nui Jaga adapted to cold Arctic weather. Or how about a black Nui Jaga for deep underground? And if you're not a fan of either of those, how about an orange one? This Nui Jaga looks right at home among the smaller creatures from the Master Builder set, like the Fiku or the Ussel Crab. The colour scheme is also a perfect match for Nuperu, so maybe this is his pet Nui Jaga that he rides into battle alongside his Boxer. Anyway, there you have it, a quick review of the Nui Jaga. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'd love to hear your own Bionicle thoughts and stories, so drop a like, leave a comment, and stay tuned for more Bionicle content. Ta ta!